everybody. Welcome to the July Beachpreneurs virtual table topic. Our guest today is Staci and Lowry from the Ornament Girl. Nicole, we're so blessed.
We are so blessed. I'm thinking blessed. I love Staci. And we get to show her off today.
Yes, we do. So, gosh, happy July, everyone.
Happy July. It's going fast.
Can't believe it's July.
I know. So today's topic table, we have Staci and Lowry, and her little bio, I'll read it. She's a crafter, creative entrepreneur, and the founder of the Ornament Girls Club, which is an Ornament Kit of the Month club with over 3,000 members. It's ridiculous. It's awesome.
Thank you.
So just to give you guys an idea of some questions you might want to ask Staci Ann as we go through our call. But first, we want to talk about the beach house.
Beach house.
And how we met Staci Ann. We got to give her origin story.
Shoot, go for it.
Me? How about you, Staci Ann? Tell us about why you went to the beach house and what happened there and all that good stuff.
So going to the beach house was like the very first real event that I ever went to, even though I'd been online since like 2005, but I was always afraid to like meet people in person. And then somehow, Kelly, I was on your email list, and you sent out an email one day saying the beach house we have this beach house event next weekend. We have one spot. Right back if you're interested. And I was like, I don't know what I was thinking in the moment. I guess I was feeling really spontaneous, and I was like, I'm interested, and that was it.
The 20 seconds of courage that changed your life. Changed our lives too.
It was really, so I was like afraid to go. Like after I had committed, I was afraid because I knew that I knew no one there. I mean, Kelly, I was on your list, but I never met you. I was thinking, am I nuts? Like I'm going to this house with people, like 15 people that I've never met before. And it ended up being so eye-opening, you know, just to be around all the different people with all their different businesses and hear everyone's perspective. When I went, I was really frustrated with the ornament business at the time because I'd been working really hard. I mean, I was doing well, but it was just, I felt like it was killing me. It was just like sucking my soul. So I just left feeling rejuvenated. In fact, when I went, I was thinking I was going to switch gears and go in a whole different direction in the business. And all of you guys were like, what? Like, you already have this thing, you know, like, I don't know. I just left feeling so much more excited about it. And with lots of ideas of different ways that I could grow it without going the route I was going, where I felt like I just was feast or famine, working really hard, not knowing what was next, you know, that kind of thing. So.
And isn't that where you came up with the idea for the club, the actual monthly program, or did you already have that?
No, I came up with it on the drive home. I came up with the idea for doing it wasn't a club though. I came up with the idea of doing a kit of the month, but not a subscription. Mm-hmm. Because I had gotten the idea I had talked to some of you guys about just ways to make things more consistent. You know, like I wanted to not have like only all the sales at Christmas time or at Easter or whatever. So on the drive home, I literally drove home. It was a 7-hour drive, and I was like, I had this huge smile on my face the whole way home. And I thought of the kit of the month, but then I went into the Facebook group, and after I'd put the first one up for sale, and it did really well, and I was really excited. But one of the other beachies said, "Why aren't you doing a subscription? Like, why can't I sign up every month, not just this one time?" And I was like, well, I don't know if anybody would be interested in that. And everybody just like, whack.
That happens a lot in the Beachpreneur system.
So for the next month, which was December, I did it so that it was the second month of the kit of the month, but I turned it into a subscription where when you signed up, you were signing up for every month.
And then you had to have a wait list because too many people tried to join, and you're like, I don't have that many kids.
Yeah, because in the beginning, I mean, it started with a few hundred, which was a lot, you know, to make that many kids, and then adding on each month was a big deal. Like, you couldn't just go from 100 to 3,000. You know, I had to like slowly step up to where it is.
And you had to order and source your materials months in advance. So you're trying to guess and grow so that you had enough kits for everyone and didn't oversell them and didn't undersell them either.
Yeah.
You obviously wanted to sell as many as you possibly could for that sweet spot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sourcing materials was hard.
And people would be begging you, please let me in. You're like, I have no more kits.
Right.
So get on the wait list for next month.
Yeah, that's exactly. It was so hard. In the beginning, I was still buying all the materials like retail. I was still going to the craft stores and buying stuff. So those first couple of months, we were running like all over Florida to like every Hobby Lobby in Florida to find all the material that we had, you know, planned out for that kit. Because we oversold the first month, we actually oversold by accident. So I had to rush around trying to find everything. Mm-hmm. But it's gotten easier because we've gotten more of systems in place now. But I still think sourcing materials is probably the hardest part.
That was the biggest learning curve for you, I think.
Yeah.
Because who can help you? And it wasn't a where you had resources. It's not like I was like, oh, I've got somebody, you know, I've got my fabric person. They can get you done.
Well, you know, when I went to the second time that I went to the beach house, I got into a conversation with a few of the beachies who sell on Amazon, and I got some good information about sourcing materials there, you know, just things I didn't know about or that I could even do. You know, I feel like one of the best things about going to the beach house is just the confidence that you get, because you realize, okay, I'm not the only one that's going through this. You know, other people have these problems too, or issues or hurdles or whatever, and they've come out the other side. So why shouldn't I be able to do that?
Yeah.
I remember that. Wasn't it Jessica and Mathia?
Yes.
I just remember thinking, wow, like we couldn't have orchestrated a better connection. On purpose. It happened through the magic of the beach house.
Very serendipitous.
I know. I haven't talked to either of them in a long time. I miss them.
So, speaking of the beach house, we do have one bed. If there's anybody who wants to be like Staci and take that last spot, I was holding it with fierce protection for somebody who was not sure if she could do the condo or the house, but she for sure can't do the house, so there is a bed available if somebody wants to reach out to me about it.
And there's lots of spots left in the condo too.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to that too.
Staci, we want you to come to condo. Can you come spend a week with us?
I want to, but I don't know. It's such a commitment. That's a long time to go.
Well, you'd be with me. You'd be in this rock.
I know. I want to go just to be around you guys. I mean, that's like the thing that I want to do. I can't. I don't know. I've been thinking about it. I'll keep thinking. And I know that I know some of the people who are going to, and I'm like, I want to go hang out with them.
It'll be awesome. Well, you know how it is with just a change of environment can like do everything too.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah. What's next? I have a comment, an observation more than anything else. Staci, when I think about everything that you're doing, the massiveness of sending out, 3,000 kits every month, the systems you've had to create and the scaling steps you've had to take. Like, if you go back 5 years and think about you, like, does this blow your mind?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what you're capable of?
Yeah, I mean, I would have never in a million years thought that it would turn into this. Like I said, when I met you guys, I was ready to turn around and walk the other direction. I didn't think it was scalable. So, yeah, it definitely, it's incredible. It's overwhelming sometimes.
Yeah.
I just think it's amazing. Sometimes when I'm chatting with someone and they say, I just can't see myself doing that. And that shouldn't be a stopper for anyone, because we are all constantly growing and stretching and discovering something new about ourselves. You're such proof of that.
Thank you. Yeah, you never know. You never know. I think part of the problem is in the beginning, we try to see the whole picture. You know, 5 years ago, if I wanted to have I was thinking about what can I do to have a successful business? And I was trying to picture exactly what something was going to look like 5 years from now. You can't. You just have no idea what's going to happen. You just kind of start going forward, and then other things open up, and you just keep going. So that's what's happened with this. I could have never foreseen it would turn into a subscription club. I wanted it to be successful. I wanted it to be making money, all those things, but I could have never pictured exactly what it was going to be. So if only I could go back though, 10 years ago and tell myself this, maybe it would have happened a little faster.
But the journey is everything though too. And
yeah.
I mean, going from where you were before you came to the beach house to, 7-figure business is like that journey. I mean, it's transformed you in so many ways. And
yeah,
God, it's been fun to watch. Yeah, but then again, none of us is the same person that walked into that house. I know Kelly and I keep stretching and growing and helping each other, challenging each other.
So, table topic, this at the beach camp event, we sit together in tables of no more than 8 people, and the person at the top who's leading the table just gets to share a little something and answer questions. So if you guys have a question for Staci, we want you to feel free to shout it out. Staci, is there anything that you would like to say to get started? Something on your heart for the Beachies?
Well, what I talked about when we were actually at the beach camp in person was systems and processes. So, I mean, I don't know, we could talk about that if anybody has any questions. That was something that I did not have in the beginning, and I'm still kind of putting it together, but I feel like it's really important, even if it's just you and your business and you don't have anyone helping you yet, or even if you don't plan on having anyone helping you. I think it's really important to have a set of processes in place to keep you organized and sane. And of course, if you're going to start bringing on other people, it's absolutely necessary. So if anybody has questions about that, I can help maybe.
Awesome.
Systems, processes, outsourcing. Staci does digital products, has an amazing following, knows a lot about community and Facebook. Oh my gosh, she's got it all going on. So ask away, guys.
So if anybody wants to type in a question into the chat, we'll be happy to read it out for you. If you want to unmute and ask Staci Ann a question verbally, you're welcome to do that too. So roll on out the question.
Everyone's quiet.
I know. Well, I have a question for you then.
Okay.
With your lists, I feel like email deliverability has been stinky this summer for a lot of people. Are you having any experience like that? And if so, what's the plan moving forward? Because I've just been saying, okay, keep growing, keep working on your community, make sure there's other points of contact and ways to contact your audience. But what are you thinking on that front?
I've definitely been having email deliverability problems in the last, I don't know, I guess I noticed it about 4 or 5 months ago is when it started, and it just feels like it's just a, so one thing, I keep cleaning out my list. If people haven't answered in 6 months or opened anything or anything at all, if they have not even engaged whatsoever, I take them off my list, because the more people opening, the better your overall deliverability will be. I also have been recently trying to do things where to get them to click or answer a question, even if it's just like a simple reply and do you like this or whatever, just to get them to do something, because again, the more that they are willing to engage with you, then the more your email provider will get your emails out there. Yeah, and of course we have the Facebook group. I hesitate to try to get people from my email list to like my public page and things like that, because I feel like that's in the same boat. People on, Facebook, I don't own that. Anything could happen on Facebook too, and I don't have the same engagement on Facebook like I used to. But yeah, just trying to keep my list clean is probably my number one strategy.
Yeah, and like I said, what I've been saying is the same type of thing. Clean your list, focus on growing it so you've got fresh people coming in constantly, right. And just be watching for other ways to interact with people, and have people on a bunch of different places. But yeah, it's been about 4 or 5 months for pretty much everybody I've talked to, so I was curious if that's been your experience as well.
And it's so depressing and disappointing too, because for so many years it was always like, no matter what, get people on your list, and I do still wholeheartedly believe that, because it is still the main thing that I own, or that we own, as compared to like a social media following or whatever. But it's depressing when I like send out an email and I see how little people are receiving them compared to what it used to be,
and summer too. So I know in order to keep the momentum during the summer, historically for me, it's taken extra effort during the summer to keep the same momentum, like a strategic plan. It's not like, yeah, I can coast because it's summer, so the combination is like new.
Yeah.
But I think that's also like another reason to really focus on recurring income, so that you have that base that you can count on. So the emails are, adding on to that. Kel, what have you been thinking on that front lately?
It's interesting because I'm in James Schramko's Super Fast Business membership, and there was a conversation there about email deliverability, and I hired a guy to come check my all the DNS information. Are you familiar? There are settings that the ISPs are looking for to be sure that you're a legitimate mailer. And he's doing that for my primary email, just checking it all through, making sure everything is set up properly. It's something that I was vaguely aware of, but never gave any thought to. Like I just, you set up your website, the hosting is included, boom, I start sending email. Never occurred to me that there might be some settings to do that improve your trust factor.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I'm sorry, Staci, and go ahead.
No, I was just saying I didn't know that.
I'll let you know what I discover.
Yeah, that would be good for mom webs too. That's important stuff to know there. Tracy, do you want to pipe in on that at all? I don't mean to call you out. I don't even know if you're actually there, if you got called away, but yeah, you're there.
I'm here.
Hi, love.
Our open rates are a little lower, but I don't know if that's a deliverability issue or if just people aren't into business stuff during the summer. But for the most part, I don't think we're having any huge issues.
Good. It was interesting because I was on a coaching call. One of our coaching clients, Kelly, and I do a co-coaching, and she was going through her inbox, and I'm like looking at all of these emails from people I know, and they're all marked spam. And she's like, I keep marking them unspam, but you guys keep ending up in the spam folder. And I'm like, those are all my friends. I don't like that.
Well, It's interesting. When I started using SendGrid, to send, that's what we used to send out all the email that comes out of a member. So it's connected by APA to SendGrid, and every once in a while someone would say, I'm not getting your emails, and I would go peek, and SendGrid gives me, really good information about what happened to that email. And all it takes is for one person to mark something spam, and for the next 24 hours a whole network is going to send you to spam. One person can influence you. Fortunately, it's only a 24-hour sandbox effect, but it's 24 hours that sucks.
Well, yeah, especially if those are a member emails, which are, here's your download. That's kind of important.
Yeah.
Well, I don't mean to turn the conversation into a bummer. I'm like, okay, we got smart people here, and like all of my coaching clients are like, what is up with email? So I thought I will ask what the plan is for what you've been thinking about, if that's been your experience as well. So yeah, we've bumped up our Facebook ads to $100 a day now for Coach Glue, just to be getting new people coming in constantly too. So, which is nice because those go on my frequent flyer credit card, and I get the miles. Pay it off every week.
Hey, it's interesting, Staci, that you have a physical product membership, so people get their package every month. And I'm loving, since I started Mindset Notes, there's something about getting something physical in the mail that keeps people hyper engaged with me. Do you notice that as well, that because they're getting a physical touch from you, they feel extremely connected to you?
Yeah, I think definitely, because there's been a couple of times in the past where I've thought this would be so much easier if I wasn't sending a physical product, because it's a physical product and a digital product. They get the kit, and then they also get an ebook and a video teaching them how to put the kit together. And so we have a digital membership as well. And there's been times that I've thought it would be so much easier if it was all digital. If I didn't have any physical product at all, I wouldn't have to have the shop and all this stuff. But I could never get rid of the kit. That's what they love. They love getting that product in the mail. Exactly what you said. It's like a personal touch. Sometimes we'll put little surprises in there, and that's what they love. They love opening it. I mean, on our Facebook group, people show pictures of their box when it comes. They open it up and they take pictures of what it looks like on the inside, and people are just so excited about it. So yeah, absolutely.
And your market, a lot of your market is elderly, and you have some shut-ins too. So I mean, that it's hard for them to go out and source the materials themselves. So getting that in the mail has to be so special to them every month. Like, yay! And then they have their friends that they go and they show their pictures to. And so, I mean, you're really making a huge difference. I know we talked about this before, where it's not just, hey, I send out a box where people can make their own ornament. I mean, you're helping people connect that are lonely and giving them friends. It's huge.
Something I think a lot of us go through, especially in the beginning, is, am I charging too much? Or, do people really want to buy this thing? And I went through that, and I went through the whole mindset of, well, do people really want to get a box with cut up fabric and, pins? They could just go to the store and they could buy it themselves. Why would they buy this from me? And pay a little more, because, we're having to put it all together. So of course it's a little bit marked up, whereas if they went to like Walmart or something like that, it would be cheaper. But then over time, what you just said, is what I realized, that there were some people who couldn't get to the store, or they didn't want to go and cut up the fabric themselves. And over the last couple of years, we've gotten emails from people who have thanked me for having this available, because they could never do this before until they were able to get the box. So, I mean, I don't know. It's so in the beginning, when you're thinking, oh, who's going to want to buy this? There are people who are going to want to buy it, and they're going to be grateful for it. So,
and for you, you say you just go to the store and buy the materials, but to me, I'm like, which pins? Which I don't understand this.
we take it for granted, I think, what value we can bring, you know, or at least that's what I did. I took it for granted that I could pick this stuff out and that people would appreciate it. So,
yeah, silver or gold pins, I don't know. Just forget it.
What was the first thing you outsourced, Staci Ann?
Email. And I went through a couple different people before I got that right, because in the beginning I didn't know I didn't know how to direct the people that I'd hired. I mean, I remember the first VA that I hired, I am pretty sure that I chased her off because she wanted direction, you know, which is exactly what she needed and what I needed to do, but I didn't give it to her. I was like, oh, I think you know, it was just, I just couldn't do it. So she kind of took off, and then I had another girl and she didn't last very long. And then finally.
And then didn't you have like some weird situation where you're like, I don't know if this was a real person or what this was. You don't have to tell the whole story, but you had like a prime time type of.
It was like Jerry Springer. I had a guy, and I had him for a year, and he was great. He was the first really successful VA that I'd hired. He did a great job. We talked every day on Facebook, you know, because we'd have to discuss things, and he was just wonderful. And then I don't even know if I should.
Is this have to tell the story, but
is this being posted publicly anywhere?
What was that?
Is this being posted publicly anywhere afterwards?
Yeah. Don't
oh gosh. Well, let's just say that there was more to his life than I knew. He was in Michigan and I'm here in Florida, so I never met him in person, but there was a lot more going on. He got arrested. He fell off the face of the earth and he was arrested. I won't say any more like why he was arrested.
He also got fired.
Yeah, and it was in October. We were coming into our busiest time, and all of a sudden I couldn't reach him, and I worried what was wrong with him. You know, I thought something had happened. Something did happen, but I thought maybe something had happened health-wise or whatever, and I never did talk to him again. We found out through some research online what had happened, and I had to scramble. That's when Nicole introduced me to Janelle, who is now my VA, and she's been with me ever since. This was 3 years, I think, 2.5 years, something like that.
Yeah, that was so serendipitous as well. I mean, you're like, I need somebody that can be dedicated, that I can rely on, that I can trust, that's not a criminal. And then, like the next day, Nell, you know, contacted me. She's like, oh, I need it. You know, I'm looking for a client. You know, I'm especially customer support. And I'm like, I've known Nell for years, and this is perfect. This is so perfect.
Yeah, she started doing customer support, but then in the last year, she's shifted to doing like administrative stuff for me and billing, because we use Infusionsoft, which is a beast. So she does billing for me. And now she's actually an employee now. Like, she's not even a subcontractor anymore. I've brought her in like as in on the payroll and everything. So yeah, she's just the best. I love her to death.
Oh, you must have a ton of frequent flyer miles. What product you buy?
I put everything on my airline card, and I need to travel more.
Do you have like a Marriott card too? Because I have a Marriott card, my Delta card, and then the Chase Sapphire card that I can use for any airline. And then I have my First Tech card, which is, I probably shouldn't have said that.
Your what card? Oh, I didn't even hear it.
Also across the board one. Where
I only have a Southwest card, and it's like I have too many points on there now that I'll never use. So I've been looking into like what else I could use to get points for travel. Like, I would love to have a hotel card or something like that.
The Chase Sapphire is really flexible and really good, and they have you get 75,000 points if you sign up and put so much on it within a certain amount of time.
Okay.
So you totally do that. But yeah, there's some really good cards out there that you can use for hotels, different airlines. Yeah.
Okay, I'll look into that.
I'll message you.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to do that. We put everything. I mean, I put even postage and stuff on there. So because we're spending like $12,000 a month in postage just alone with the boxes. So just I need to like reallocate.
Like some of them too, if you end up with too many frequent flyer miles, you can actually gift them to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So that families or to families like to charities where they're flying kids to hospitals, stuff like that too. There's some ways you can donate if you've really got like enough more than you'll ever use, then, or they might expire or something. Then there's some really cool ways to bless people with those. Or you can just send me to Latvia. I know I can send my own damn self to Latvia.
All right. Those of you who are hanging out with us live, questions, comments, anything you want to say, want to shout out to Staci Ann? Or
just feeling intimidated by her brilliance. The presence of greatness. Oh, Donna.
Oh.
No, Donna.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to speak. My cheek hit. So, sorry.
That's okay.
But I will tell you, I'm at the gift show, the food and gift show in Atlanta. That's the reason I'm trying to be quiet.
Nice.
Very cool.
It's fun.
Very cool.
Staci Ann, do you sell gift subscriptions?
What's that?
Do you sell gift subscriptions?
Yeah, but I don't have like a really good system for people to do it automatically. It's kind of been happening where members will write in and say, I'd like to do a gift subscription, and we have to set it up kind of on the back end. I'd like to have a better way to do it.
Yeah. I don't think I set mine up like in the most excellent way possible, but I did set up a separate product where you can buy someone a 1-year subscription. So you pay for the whole thing up front and provide the information. I have it set up a little bit manual at this point because I want them to be able to include a note. So the first time that they get their letter, they're getting a note from that person explaining like, I wanted you to have this. So this is what you can look forward to for the next year. And so I didn't know how to do that without making something a little manual.
Yeah.
But it's been fun. Like, I think that's my favorite thing right now is seeing those gift subscriptions come in.
Oh, that's sweet.
That is neat.
Yeah, you could do like a 4-month or 3-month, 6-month, 12-month one where it's a separate product, and then set up an Infusionsoft a tag so that it lets you guys know that you need to stick the gift card in that first one when it gets purchased, and then just the billing and shipping address would be entered separately and you'd know where to send it. I think it could be pretty simple if it wasn't recurring.
Yeah, mine is not recurring because I didn't think that would sell well.
Yeah, for a gift, I think a one-time thing would make more sense. You don't want to be like Everybody Loves Raymond, where he sends her the Fruit of the Month Club, and she's yelling at him, "Why do I need so many pears?" He's like, "Mom, I just thought you'd like some fruit. There's too much. What am I going to get this every month?" Yes, no. Settle. I'll make it stop.
One of the issues that I've had with setting up a gift subscription also has been that if somebody has just tried to buy a gift subscription on their own without letting us know, it goes into their contact record on Infusionsoft. Like, you use Infusionsoft, right, Nicole? Mm-hmm. Well, the problem is we also have to have a login and all that stuff for the person separate so they can go into the club website and access the instructions. So that's where things have gotten a little hairy.
That makes sense. Yeah, I think if you sold one and had a trigger, send an email to support to set up that person,
Right.
and
Yeah.
like have an extra field on there so it would have that information, have that tag and send to support, then that would trigger support to set up that person if they give you the name and email, and you'd have the address of the other person, then they can manually set that up because it would be paid. So at that point.
Right. Yeah, that's a good idea.
I think it would work.
I'm sure there's a way. When it comes to infusion stuff, there's always a way. It's just a matter of figuring out the beast sometimes, because it's just
Yeah, totally understand.
Yeah.
And Tracy said, I'd like to know if Staci Ann has any tips, and she does, successfully managing a group so they are engaged with her and with each other. I think Tracy's talking about like Facebook group. Is that what you're specifically asking about, Trace? Yep.
I think that right off the bat, I was lucky because when I started the subscription, well, actually, when I started the Kid of the Month, before it was even a subscription, I did start the Facebook group right away. But we had 300 people in there right away. So right off the bat, we had a lot of people in there. I know it's a little bit harder when you start with a group that only has a couple people. It's harder to get things going. So we were lucky in that respect. But we just encourage people to share their pictures. I mean, it's a very niche group. So, and there's nowhere else that they can share their pictures of ornaments and get the kind of, feedback and stuff anywhere else on like Facebook or anywhere except for in our group like that. So people get really into just showing what they're doing. And we also encourage questions. And if like people need help with anything like that month's ornament or whatever, we encourage questions. People share their own ideas. I mean, other than I try not to have crazy rules that stifles the group. I did after a few months realize that I needed rules in place because we had people coming in and just making it a free for all. So we had to kind of like, put the kibosh on that, but just trying to strike a balance between giving people freedom to post, and not stifling them, I think kind of works for us. I mean, I feel like the Facebook group is difficult. It's probably one of the most difficult parts of running all the online stuff, just because it's a huge group. You're trying to keep up that engagement. You're trying to get people excited. And you're also trying to keep people from stepping all over you and breaking the rules and being dramatic and promote self-promotion and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's helpful.
Do you let people talk about off-topic things in your group, or is it just ornaments?
I try to keep really off-topic stuff out because it's a huge group, and I feel like if it gets too off topic, then the whole group's going to get watered down, and people are there for a specific reason. I mean, we've even gotten complaints if a post has gone by me, like where somebody posted about like something random that had absolutely nothing to do with ornaments. I've gotten complaints about it. People write in and they're like, I didn't come to this group to see that. I can see that on my regular Facebook feed. So yeah, we do. I mean, I do allow like crafting stuff. It doesn't have to be necessarily ornaments. We have a lot of quilters in the group and people who do like crochet and things like that, and they'll post stuff. But I would say for the most part, it's about ornaments.
I was curious because I'm in a really fun, very active group, Nerd Fitness, and I'm fascinated by it because people talk about everything in there. Like, that's where they'll like announce their pregnancies first before they even tell their family. I mean, it's just like, it's the most involved, interactive, supportive, totally off topic I've ever been in. And it's just, I find it fascinating. So I was curious if you had any of that, or if you kept it tighter. So thank you for that.
And I really try to I try to take everything on a case-by-case basis too, because I don't want to stifle people. If someone comes in, that community feels that it's their community. You know what I mean? Like they feel safe there. They love sharing things about themselves. And sometimes like in comments under a post, like for example, somebody will post an ornament and say they made it as a gift for their friend who has like breast cancer right now. They're going through this thing, or, this is just an example because it just came out recently, and a whole conversation will ensue below that ornament, and it'll go off into, all sorts of different things. And I definitely let that, because I don't want to stifle anyone. Sometimes it's hard to know where to draw the line, because I don't want to come in there and be like the police, you know what I mean? And be like, you can't post this, you can't say this. Because then people are going to be like, well, why would I want to be here then? Like, this is not a community. It's really hard. It's really hard to strike that balance, I feel, to be perfectly honest.
I like your attitude about it, you know, that you want to keep it as open as possible, you know, while providing some form and function.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really smart. It's very cool. And then when people are scrolling through, whatever's in the comments isn't affecting their scrolling. So the discussion,
Yeah.
if it starts with the crafting and then it goes in a different direction, then that's fine. I get that. I think that's cool. Any tips about, like, do you have like theme days or do anything else to keep people involved? Or is it just because the group has momentum, it just keeps momentum at this point?
You know, we do we have a monthly contest where we have a theme for that month, and it starts on a post. Like, I just put the contest on the post and I say what the theme is, and everybody puts one of their ornaments that fits the theme, and then people vote with their likes, and the winner gets their ornament on the cover for the whole next month, the whole cover photo of the Facebook group. And it's funny, when we started that, I really wasn't sure what to expect. I didn't think that people would get that excited, but it is huge. Like, I mean, like, people get really into it. They get, like, I've even gotten people like write me by email really upset when they did it. So I'm like, I'm sorry. But I mean, that's one of the things that people just absolutely love. So we do things like that. So, sometimes we have certain themes going on in the group. We have a challenge in the fall where we have an ornament pattern of the week, where everybody like has a set of fabrics and they do that pattern that week and post it. And that was huge, actually, last year when we did it.
That's so
challenges
cool.
are fun. I didn't think challenges could apply to like a craft, but totally.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Staci Ann, are you doing anything with an affiliate program?
I have an affiliate program set up. I haven't really promoted it a lot. It's 50% on digital patterns. And then I do 50% on the first month if someone joins for the kit, because I just don't have that same, leeway to give,
Right.
Affiliate commission on physical products. But I do first month 50% on a kit.
Nice.
I need to like work on that and promote it more and stuff.
Yeah. Are your customers aware of the opportunity to share it with their friends?
A few of them are, but I don't feel like I have a really user-friendly affiliate program yet. I've just got it kind of set up through Infusionsoft with their basic whatever, which is not good. And our most of our members are older. They're not really super techy, and I feel like it's too confusing. So I would love to have something a little bit easier and more user-friendly set up in the near future for them, because I think it would probably be something they'd be interested in, to get 50% on digital patterns.
Yeah, I think the craft bloggers would be where I would focus my energy on that. Otherwise, it's going to be a support nightmare.
That's why I haven't promoted it, because I'm just like, ooh, I feel like it's going to be a mess.
I would keep it private and just reach out to other people in the craft.
That's a good idea.
Following and let them know. And if you didn't want to do 50%, or if you wanted to structure the physical differently, you could do like 10% recurring instead of 50% on the first month, if it worked with your numbers. And people might actually be interested in that. That's what Kelly did on Mindset Notes, was 10% recurring.
Oh, okay.
So they can build up an income based on that. I mean, I know it wouldn't be a lot per box, but if people stuck, then it would be definitely more money in the long run.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good idea.
Yeah, you will. Well, we've got a few minutes left. Any last thoughts from anybody? I just always feel so inspired with you, Staci Ann, because you've taken marketing models and applied it to an industry that a lot of people would say, well, that just can't work. And you're proving it does. And so that just opens my mind to like, what else is possible? You know, what other industries could make use of a subscription model? How people are thinking about like, what is this? What could this mean for me? So cool.
And there are subscription boxes now for
Everything.
so many things because people love them. I mean, love looking forward to getting a present every month.
I get kitty litter in the mail.
So do I.
Do you? I'm in the kitty poo club.
Oh, I don't know that club. I just get mine from Amazon in the mail. Subscribe and save.
There's literally a kitty poo club.
Yes, kitty poo club. It is a special litter that you only have to change once a month.
Wow.
Seriously.
I'll
won't
have to
go
look
into
into that.
detail, but
That sounds disgusting. It must be magic.
it is. It is. The funniest thing, it's a very high tech materials, but my son was hanging up a kitty shelf in my bathroom next to the window for George, and when he was drilling it in, his face was literally like this over the kitty litter, and he's like, "This stuff is pretty good. I don't smell nothing."
I'll have to look into it.
Kitty poo club. When I saw the Facebook ad, I thought, now this is ridiculous. Who would join a kitty litter club? And
5 minutes later.
me. I've been a member for
Do
like.
they have an affiliate program? Because you sound like a heck of an ambassador. I can just see you doing a video going, I can't smell a thing. It's been, and then getting on 5 days later, it's been 5 more days.
Oh my gosh.
That's funny.
I could, but I don't think I will.
I think you will.
I have another question for Staci Ann.
Yes, please, love.
So Staci Ann, we live fairly close to each other, so I was wondering at some point if you would like to get together for lunch.
Absolutely.
If you say no.
That was an easy question.
But we should really do it this time.
I know. We've said it for like 3 years now, I feel like, or 2 years, right?
Yeah.
And now I'm even closer now that I've moved back here
Yep,
to
you're down
Central
the street from my
Florida.
sister, so yeah. All right, I'm going to get in contact with you and we're going to make a date.
I'm jealous.
I'm super excited.
Like, Tracy, you should drive up by me too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little bit longer of a drive.
I know. That's why we have to have these events. But I would be too sad missing my friends. Any other questions before we wrap up? We got super smartness on. You don't even offer business coaching, do you? This is like the only way people can get access to you.
You know, I keep saying I'm going to do like a how to sell your crafts thing, and I always want to, but I haven't. Coaching or something like that.
I think Kelly may have had to pop off. No,
I haven't had to. I might have to. I have a podcast interview, but it might have been canceled due to a flat tire. We'll find out shortly. I do, Staci, and I know when you came to the beach house, you were thinking about making a shift, and that was one of the things that you were thinking about, was maybe going into something where you became a coach to crafters who wanted to turn their hobby into more of a business. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yep, that's exactly what I wanted to do. Yep. And it's still there. I still want to do it. I have it in my heart, like, you know, that I want, because I just see so much misinformation, and I see so many people teaching like crafters, but they've never sold a craft online, you know, that kind of thing. And it's in my heart, but this keeps me so busy now, which is a good thing, but it's something I still want to do. And I have people that want it. Like I set up a sales page and everything on my website, and I have like 500 people who filled out a form saying that they wanted to do this. So I feel like it's like sitting there, and it's sitting there waiting for me, and I'm not doing anything with it.
So, what if it were easy? Right, Cal?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, what if it were easy? This is where I need coaching.
Who would be your ideal client? Like,
I think my ideal client is somebody who has tried Etsy. They realize that they're not getting any traction there, and they're ready to move on to starting their own website. Somebody who's willing to put a little work into it, you know, building a website, learning WordPress, all those things that none of us knew back when it all started, but we're willing to figure out.
So how many people are currently selling on Etsy?
Oh.
I think you have a market.
Yeah. I guess there's just a lot of people on Etsy. A lot of unhappy people on Etsy.
Yeah.
That's the market, the unhappy people.
Yeah, well, we just did that creative business summit, and like I talked to a dozen or so people who have a craft, and I would say at least like close to half of them said something like, well, I have an Etsy store, but I really, you know, am happier with what I'm doing on my own website.
Yeah.
So
well, yeah, if you want to make money.
Yeah.
If you want to make money, if you want to have a brand, if you want to build a following, you know, if you want to be able to have people that you can sell to whenever, not just whenever Etsy feels like throwing you a couple views. I mean,
yeah,
getting a list. I want to teach people the importance of building their list. Although, like we talked about at the beginning of this conversation, that's been difficult lately. But all those things, you know, branding yourself. You can't, it's hard to do that on Etsy because you're just an Etsy seller on Etsy. You're just one of the bazillion Etsy sellers. Yeah. I mean, I go on Google sometimes to search for something and I'll see a picture from Etsy in the Google images. I'll click on it and it'll take me, instead of taking me to that person's listing, it takes me to an Etsy search function. It doesn't even take people to their own listings from Google. That blows my mind.
You get me started.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty unreasonable.
I think there are a lot of people that could learn so much from you when you're ready. The Creative Business Summit, talking to all the different people about all the different ways that they were leveraging their creativity was so, like, that whole thing, I felt like it was just for me, like just for me to be inspired and motivated. But thank you for being part of that.
Well, thanks for doing it. I watched all of them. They were all awesome. It was really cool to see all the different ways that people were, everybody had something different, you know, a different way of making money or whatever.
That seed, so I'll plant a seed. Like, I think that that's something that people would enjoy doing every summer. Like, you know, there was a big response to it. And while some of them, I mean, I'm telling them about my mom web's hosting and things like that, but I don't have the right offers for a creative because I don't have that area of expertise. So maybe you want to take over Creative Business Summit next year. Hosted by Staci and Lowry.
Wow, that was generous.
That would be fun.
Wow. Oh, that sounds big.
It's all outsourced. Other than actually showing up, it was all outsourced.
Wow. That's awesome.
All right. Well, we just got a couple minutes left. I want to say thank you, Staci Ann, for being so generous with your time.
Thanks for having me. I always love hanging out with you guys.
Happy sigh.
Any final thoughts from you, Nicole?
I'm just happy. And I'm excited about the Creative Business Summit now, too. I mean, I think that's magic right there. I got to see magic happen. And thank you, Staci Ann, for sharing all your thoughts and your wisdom. I sure appreciate you and I love you. I'm proud of you.
Oh, thank you. I love you guys too.
I'm in awe of you. And I get to see you soon. Not soon enough, but.
I know.
Anybody else want to give a verbal thank you to Staci Ann before we wrap things up and stop the recording, or you can type into the chat. Kathy says thanks. Thanks for being here, everybody.
Thanks to everybody who came.
Y'all have a great afternoon. We will see you again, Virtual Table Topics, next month. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Love you.
Love you.